back to TNUA and your graduate work in creative research. What are some of the conversations that you're having now, consultations with your supervisors about the kinds of projects that you will do? What are some of the things that you're talking about in class?
Only one thing that I know that in the normal scale of the PhD dissertation, it will be like 10万字以上 150,000 words.
Yes.
And kind of like thick. Yeah, right? And but some of the supervisors will say you don't need to write such a large number of words. Maybe just 70,000 will do. But for me, it's very incredible because I was from the background of philosophy and social sciences. So my master's degree was 120,000 words, like exactly. So when I would graduate from PhD, I can write less. That would be great. But maybe you have to be very smart, something like that. I only got this kind of amount of words.
Okay.
Not a kind of you have especially we are doing kind of theoretical, say, curatorial practice. How come this kind of curatorial? I was from the fine arts background. There's no such a word for curatorial practice. Like making an exhibition, something like that. Yeah.
So is that a relatively new format then, that you're not 150,000 words, but 70,000 words?
Yeah.
But do you create an exhibition? Is that part of it?
No. Only writing. I'm talking about only for writing.
Oh.
But curatorial practice, actually so many of our classmates do so. But it didn't represent that he or she can use this kind of project to graduate.
Only
just kind of
theorize.
Yeah, kind of personal experience.
Okay.
Or personal.
I think there's many aspects of this. I think until now we're talking about administrative aspect because in the system we need a kind of qualitative, like the minimization of what is required. But actually, I think what we are interested in is more the qualitative aspect of the contribution of knowledge. So which means in this aspect we are talking about like there are not just the words or not just any kinds of format, which is can be flexible and provided in the graduation process. But what is exactly the meaning of doing a PhD process in our in this time in our age or in this process of being a young researcher? And I might be able to share a bit of my own research.
Yes, please.
Actually, I do like contemplarization, but in my own research, I feel I'm doing more like the somatic practices. So in this process, I found that if I'm not doing the practices, I cannot know the knowledge at all. So that's which means in this process of practice, this is exactly the only way I can get knowledge. Otherwise, I just very confused about what exactly it is. So I think this is kind of the necessity of why I bring this kind of practice into my own research. But what I'm interested also in all the examples which you bring out is that what is the position of the researcher's practice? So somehow, sometimes we can be like interested in existing practice or a group of people doing this kind of practice for quite a long time, or maybe a dying one or maybe a still existing one. So but what is our relationship with our own practice? Because if you are doing practice, it's not just their practice; it becomes part of yourself, in your body. And but when we are doing a kind of research, what is the focus? Like how much focus you put on the other like the group of people's practice, and how much you be reflective or like phenomenologically describing your process of into this kind of practice, like and also influence what it will be the final form. Like it is kind of you can do your performance related to practice. You can do creative process related to it, or it can be also a written form of it. So it is kind of wide variety. But I think for now, I found it quite important is to think what is the methodology that is possible, and what is a kind of format or kind of a paradigm that makes sense in some way, and also can be reasonable in this to apply in this system.
Yeah, I mean, at the heart of that, and I'm so glad that you mentioned this idea of embodying through your methodology, through the process of doing research, you document changes in yourself. And that's very much common to the creative arts research. You keep a log and a journal over the time that you are data collecting. You're collecting data, perhaps about the community that you're working with, but at the same time, you're creating a log and journal about your self-perception. As you invest yourself in them, you change. And that's a built-in, it's a given. We know if you're engaging this type of research, you yourself as a researcher will transform. And so you document that process. It's a very logical way to show that there's a integrated and relational outcome that will happen. Give you an example. I, of course, work with gamelan. So there's a researcher in the United Kingdom who saw how effective it is after she would bring community people together. So a business person, some teachers, some students, and we don't really know each other, and everybody's stressed and work, and you play together gamelan. And then after 1 hour, 2 hours, well, everybody had such a good time. One person had a headache, now the headache is gone, they feel so much better. Wow, it's just this idea of creating music together. And the social relationship and bond become stronger. So she saw a need. How can we put this transformative power of playing the gamelan working in the prison system? Prisoner, yeah? The jail. The quality of relations in prisoners and, their inability to socialize. Yeah? And the survival in the prison. So she took that aspect that she knows about gamelan, and she began to work in a project of transformation in the prison. Not to get the prisoners to be great musicians, no, but how to increase the social transformation. And so she documented all along the way. So this one example, gamelan in the prisons, and she's done some very nice publication, I forgot her name, but this kind of idea we can integrate in our project, designed in such a way that we engage with communities that need to move, that are not using their body. So you find, who are people not using their body? Then you take their knowledge of dance, engage with them, and you document the transition of them getting in touch with, what does it mean to move? How can it improve quality of life, etc., etc. So, yeah, this is the creative part of research. This is the creative part. Identify a need. Look at some theories that are happening now in creative-based research. Find a place that you can apply. How can I apply this knowledge to whatever group? And see, document, what is the outcome? Yeah. Sometimes successful, sometimes not so successful. But that's the experimentation that I think you had mentioned before. Yeah.
That's the question. I mean, I believe that this kind of question, the validity of creative research it must be a long-term question for you. And I believe that you must have some answer to the validity. I would like to know how you think about your work and how valid your work is. Because I think this is a defining moment. I mean, it is a moment that we are collectively redefining or defining the validity of creative research. I just think you are the very person who should defend the value of artistic and creative work. I mean, for me, I think I just want to just maybe before you share, I would like to say that for me, I think about the validity of a work by thinking about how it has been researched and what is research. I just want to say what is research, and does it share? I mean, does the creative research also share similar process of scientific research? If we say scientific research is the model, and we have to rely on that model or the other principles of evaluations around that model, what's the similarities between them and what's the uniqueness of creative research? I mean, one thing I want to raise is that research for me is research. I'm not saying nonsense. I'm saying research. What does it mean? It means you have to try again and again and find the solution for your own research question. That's research, right? And in scientific research, we are doing that. For creative research, you are also doing that. So why your research is not as valid as scientific research? It makes sense. I'm just to raise this point, and I would like to know your idea, and because you are the person who might have to defend for your own work.
Okay, maybe I could say something about I have my own project in here in TNU about I'm wondering about the tradition in Taiwanese contemporary music. This is about actually it's an old issue about tradition and contemporary music, but I find if there is a way about if you can. It's also a practice for very, if I maybe double-sided about why you should have to write a contemporary works and it is follow traditional idiom or traditional language, but also it is contemporary. And this is one of my. So I have some argument with one of my theater player friend that. He kept fighting me about why I have to follow about what is mean about it is a work of a teacher or why I have to write. You didn't write like someone will say, why if you are a Chinese composer, why don't you write some Chinese music? But this so they were mentioned about maybe about the modernity and the tradition, and this is the project and I'm going on and. But I think I have to more let literature review about this one because there are also some much more discussion nowadays. And the other one about my work is about the literacy of in art education now. And because in the new in the Ministry of the Law that the people, students in Taiwan, they have to attend a new system of education that have to cultivate about something called maybe competency, or that's like ancient literacy of old China that you have to know something about different areas of you like to. Although you're not majoring in arts, but you also have to know about Mandarin, about English, and maybe mathematics. But you have to moderate there all this stuff. You don't really very have specialty in that, but you have to you can integrate or to articulate the difference and to make yourself to accept the modern study about the quite changing depths. And this is I know this is a big difficulty for the teachers nowadays in elementary schools and secondary schools, teachers to let them to change their skill of teaching, because they are usually in Taiwan would have already just be taught to make yourself one question, one answer, or you only have a stereotype of one-way teaching skills. But now the new approach is the teacher themselves have to make them to be more skillful or fruitful skill to bring up students to then to have some to have critical thinking and creativity, collaboration, and conversation, community about the world. But this is very hard to. This is very difficult to the teachers in Taiwan, and this is my project of my work, my job, to let them know the importance, and then to occur some motivation to know. But I think there is still a long distance to, because
it's a huge topic. I mean, the one that you're talking about now is really looking at education, music education, pedagogy, transmission, and changing a whole kind of culture of teaching and learning. So that's huge. I think, if we come back to your first one, which was about kind of what do you do between tradition, modern, blending, and so on, you'd be really interested to read something called Tradition as Invention, or Reinventing Tradition. Hobsbawm is one of the first that did that. There's a guy named Jay Keister who talked about reinventing tradition in Japanese music, for example. So he'd be a really good read, just to get your mind around when we evoke that word tradition. What are we actually invoking, as opposed to, there's this dyad, or between tradition, modern, right? And now, today, sometimes we use local and global. But before, we used to say primitive and civilized. Oh, the Aboriginal or the Native Americans are so primitive, and I am the civilized, white man. But there's actually a continuity of this kind of polarizing when we use words like tradition, because it kind of freezes things in a way. It says, oh, this is the tradition. But what does it mean? And I am modern. So she has a beautiful new Apple iPhone. She's modern. But me, only Nokia. The traditional phone. So it kind of pushes me into this place of, So you can maybe investigate a little bit about
I just want to feedback about the Christian Small's music. The concept of it's also about relationships between maybe the before and now, and the myself and the people. So you have to. I think the both projects to how do we put ourselves into the context and into the group. This is maybe the main.
Yes, I think that beautifully summarizes, I think, the message is that when you do put yourself into a circle of people who might need an art, or they're artists themselves, and this can be simply you're a contemporary artist or dancer, and you're going into some urban hip-hop dancing that you've never encountered before, or you're a jazz person and you're going into the heavy metal scene. I mean, these boundaries, these cultural boundaries, don't mean that you travel off to faraway places or you have to learn a new language. The boundaries are right here in the city, you can be sure. And oftentimes they're social and economic that isolate us from each other in that way. So the crossing of boundaries is exactly what you said. So I think it's a nice summary to kind of close it up. Yeah.
I like the way you're talking about ontology, because I'm from philosophy, it's kind of ontology means unto. Unto means you have stepped to a new ground and then change your kind of old ground, let's say, shift position. So it needs double act, which is embodied to be there. And but for the philosophical term, you have to prove yourself that the earth didn't throw that way on the sun. Because for me, ontological is very serious term for this kind of cross-disciplinary or say quartz theory or methodological way. So it's not just a kind of exercise or experiment in a sense that only to it's kind of social networking, something like that. So I take this term so seriously in kind of a definition term. But for today, for me, it's kind of like very inspiring that this body should go onto ontology. Because for me, ontology always relates to some kind of a being, being, and which is very steady, very quiet, like you say, Heidegger. But Heidegger do some kind of being in the world, being in the history. So it's also kind of temporal spatial relationship to it. But for your example, that it's more like becoming, right? Not a being. Actually, it's not my invention. So many theories calling that it is becoming, not a being, right? But this becoming can be, I don't know how to become the other person or say intertwined and something like that. But how is become ontological shift? Yeah, because being means unto. Unto means like I say here, well-being, you know. But when I was becoming, maybe ontologically might not very proper to this kind of.
I think there is a process like from here to there.
Yeah.
Become, so become you become.
Yeah.
So it's from there is a process. Not just jump into that.
Yeah, but it's ontological term, which means for me it's more like in a narrow or very narrow definition of music or dance, and then we retreat from it and become movement or say song.
Yeah.
It's very philosophical meaning to it, but somehow it's still to concrete a certain kind of field in a way because it's still local.
I'll give you a little homework.
Yeah.
So on that notion of term, if you can download that introduction that I listed here on the website, they mention the performative term. And the idea of turn is that the field itself is moving in a different direction. And I think it's very true for the creative research that you guys are doing. 20 years ago, there were a few programs here and there, it was still sparse, but there's a general term now to performativity and this practice-based research. So I've used ontological simply because I'm very interested in it. But I think for you guys, if you can read and find that section where he talks about the performative term, it's happening in many industries. It's labeled, whether it's practice-based, applied, or so on. There's a turn towards this performative and practice-based. So I think that would be equally useful beyond ontological. You can look for performer. So a little homework. No test.
And maybe I was sorry, I was just add up something. I was thinking if it is even more true that the sense of being is closer to a sense of becoming, rather than a sense of a stable, peaceful, quiet situation of the Heidegger suggest. I was thinking that maybe in this, the reason why we put it as an adjective, we are not saying ontology apostrophe. We are not saying ontology apostrophe. We are saying apostrophe 就是它是所有格。我们并不是在讲说这个一个本体的所有格，我是在讲本体的，所以它本身就是一个 becoming 的状态，就像你说是一个 onto 的状态。So I'm saying that the ontological as an adjective maybe remind us we are in the process of becoming rather than 铁板一块，你知道吗？就是 we are not the metal, we are not the metal, and we are actually looking over now. Many disciplines have paid attention to that kind of shifting process.
I really like the words transformation because I think that nothing is static. Even the concept of perception is nothing is static. So I think in this process, the importance for me is to transform your feeling or your idea towards the same thing. Even though it's the same thing, never feel the same, never think the same. So I feel like ontology is kind of philosophical world. I think it's philosophical in a way that is so fundamental. It's not a way that is very serious. If it is so serious, it's just for certain people that is interested. But it's fundamental. It's for everything.
Okay.